Today we've got a couple of things going on. We still have the heat. You can see that we do have some sunshine going on, and eventually we will have some storms to move in. But yeah, this is part of our Lucky Star Sky Chem network. It's pretty nice and quiet outside for the most part right now. Let's go to links 1. So we still have a heat advisor for basically just south of I-40 and over Tulsa as well, but excessive heat warning in southeast Oklahoma. It could still feel upwards of around to 110 to 115 at its peak. We could certainly use some more rain. We still have an extreme drought in parts of north central, northeastern Oklahoma, but overall, the big picture, we're doing a lot better after all of the storms we've had over the past month or so. And we still have some rain out there. Looking at Storm Shield 9 right now, we do have some showers out to the west. You can see some storms that are moving east across, well, at this point right now, it's just northwest Kansas. These are going to continue to move off to the east and eventually fall apart. And then later this afternoon, we're expecting more storms to develop across the Rockies that will eventually head our way. But right now, some light rain just south of Sealing, moving towards Tologa, also right around Butler, probably going to make it into Clinton here eventually, but everything's going to be pretty light right now. There's no lightning strikes with this, but some very light rain around Elk City as well. And we're still going to keep a slight chance even here in Oklahoma City for later this afternoon, just in case some of that does make it in here. But in the meantime, dry, partly cloudy, very warm. The Star Integris camera up on our Lucky Star Sky Chem network, 90 degrees, a west wind right now at 7 miles an hour, dew points in the mid 60s, so it still feels like 93 degrees. Temperatures range from the low to upper 80s across the north, but we still have some upper 90s showing up in southwest Oklahoma with a southwest wind between about 10 to 20 miles an hour. So you can kind of see where that boundary has already moved through. So really the western sides of the metro, we're already seeing more of a north to northwest wind between about 5 to 50 miles an hour. It's all going to lead to a much nicer Friday and into your early part of the weekend. But yeah, you can definitely tell that things are pretty quiet right now across Colorado. But again, with the heating of the day, we're expecting more storms to develop out there later this afternoon. So by 2 o'clock this afternoon, yes, there's still a slight chance of some isolated showers here in the metro, but for the most part, most of us will end up staying dry this afternoon. Later this evening, storms do come in out of Kansas, moving into the Panhandle first. Notice it's midnight, and we're trying to get those storms to move into northwest Oklahoma, and these will likely be severe during that time. And they're still going to be severe as they move off to the east. I think the heavier storms will stay just north of I-40, even probably north of Oklahoma City. But I still think we get some rain out of this, but probably not until after about 4, even 5 o'clock in the morning. By late morning, early afternoon, everything moves out of here, and it's leading up to a pretty nice Friday. Temperatures will struggle to make it into the 80s for many of us. So some great news there. As far as rain is concerned, I think most of the storms, especially initially as they're stronger moving into the northwest, that's where most of the rainfall will end up. But here in Oklahoma City right now, probably less than 1/10 of an inch in most locations around the metro. So today, still shooting for a high of about 95 degrees, a lot cooler just to the north, but still very warm. For this evening, the storms are going to be more likely in the Panhandle, but overnight tonight and into tomorrow morning, really along and north of I-40, that's where storm chances are going to be a lot more likely, and it's going to be a lot less, especially the farther south you go. And especially initially, we're going to have more of a moderate threat of severe storms in north central, northwestern Oklahoma. Still low threat that they could become severe as they move into Oklahoma City. And if they were to be severe in Oklahoma City, be on the lower end of maybe some small hail and wind gusts up to about 60 miles an hour. But as far as hail sizes are concerned, anything bigger than that would be in north central, northwestern Oklahoma. That's where we could also see wind gusts over 70 miles an hour. So we're going to be watching that very closely. The boundary eventually moves well to the south overnight tonight, with temperatures dropping down into the mid and upper 60s. Tomorrow afternoon looks fantastic. Temperature of about 82 degrees in Oklahoma City, but some mid and upper 70s in the northwest. And then as we get into Saturday, temperatures start to warm up. We're looking at highs to be in the upper 80s and low 90s, and then we're going to stay in the low 90s for Sunday. Next week looks a little different. It does look a little hotter.